one more time. If you are just joining us on the recording, I'm recording the lesson about how to make the rubric for our Ember Chapter 3 question of the day. Let me show you what to do next. On the top left-hand side, I want you to go ahead and put City of Ember, Chapter 3. I'm going to let Baylor in. And Annabelle, do you have a question?
Yeah, can we do this on the back side of our City of Ember summary words and stuff?
You can if you want to. And a lot of times when we're in class, we will do that. So yes, you can. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to check. We've got Ember. The next thing I'll do is I'm going to give you an abbreviation because writing question of the day all the time gets a little tiresome if you're trying to squish it in here. And I've already put City of Ember right up here. Oh my goodness. Got to check to see what I'm doing here. So easier to do is just put QOD. Question of, and I don't use the T here, but it's just question of the day. This will help us to know that this is the question of the day and not the summary that we're doing here. Hey, boys and girls, I want to remind you to just mute your microphones because we're getting a lot of feedback on some of this stuff. Make sure you do that. Thank you. All right, you should have your name, number, and your name and date. You're also your City of Ember. Question of the day for Chapter 3. What we do on these assignments, before we write an answer to the question of the day, we want to go over what's called the rubric. And this is the rubric we're going to be using throughout the school year for a lot of what we write. In fact, except for summaries, this rubric is going to be used almost every time we write an answer to a question. So you'll get to know it really, really well. And you'll see this again in the upper grades, maybe in a little bit of a different form, but it is something we're going to be using a lot. So I want you to know it really well. We'll start step by step with it. At the very top here, I want you to put the word rubric. Rubric is our word for the list of things we're going to be looking for when we grade any assignment. So you should have the word rubric on top here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be spelling out a word for you. This word is basically our cheat sheet to know what each part of the rubric. Some of them, one of them you already know. Some of them you don't yet because we haven't introduced them. But we will introduce each part. But I want to show you the words. I don't know if anyone's heard of this muscle before. Whenever you hear somebody flexing, they use their biceps. And biceps is the word we use for our rubric. That's our way to remember each part of it. So we're going to use the biceps rubric anytime we use writing. Let's write that on this assignment so that we always know what we're going to be looking for in our writing, so that you know what to check off once you do it. We're going to make a checkbox at the very top on a line, and we're going to put the letter B next to it. We're going to spell the word biceps, boys and girls, straight down. So we're going to go below the B. We're going to make another checkbox. We're going to put the letter I. After we do that, we're going to put another checkbox below, trying to stay on the lines because it makes it a little bit easier for us to line everything up. And we're going to put a C. After that, we're going to do another checkbox and the letter E. So we're almost there. Got a few more to add in here. After the E, we're going to put the letter P. So we got bicep. We need one more letter. Miss Church, could you do me a favor? Could you go ahead and turn this to red for me? We're going to put on our testing light, or not our on-air light. And I'll just bring that up. Thanks. All right. We're going to go ahead and add one more thing, and that's S. So you should have your biceps rubric all the way down and ready to go. Now, we're not going to go over the whole biceps rubric today. In fact, I don't want you to worry about the letters that I don't tell you that what they are today in your writing. I want you to focus really on two. One you already know. So the first one that we already know, or the one that we already know that we've talked about, is cups. So what I want you to do is look at C. Right down here where the letter C is, that's going to stand for cups. And that just basically means whenever you do your writing, I want you to use capital letters. Make sure you use correct usage, meaning make sure you write your words so they sound correct when you read them out loud. P for punctuation, and S for spelling. So it's kind of like an abbreviation within an abbreviation. Cups. We already know that one, and I want to make sure that you use that every time you're writing. Today we're going to introduce a new letter. And we've talked about this before, actually, I think in spiral math. In spiral math, a lot of times I'm telling you about, make sure that you have your answer sentence. Make sure you have your answer sentence. And when we write in our novel questions of the day, or when we do history question day or any writing, we always want to, if we're asked a question, to begin with an answer sentence. Make sure you're muting your microphone, boys and girls. That'll help us a lot to keep the background. Let's see. Ms. Church, can you tell me who's raising their hand?
Lucky.
Riley? Riley, do you have a question?
Yeah.
Riley, back away from the microphone. Just a little bit.
Isn't it whenever you do a capital U, don't you not do a line straight down?
That's usually how I do my capital U's, Riley, but it'll be okay. Either one is going to be okay for the capital letter. Thanks for the question, Riley. Let's go and take a look at what we're doing here. We're going to begin with an answer sentence. And normally what we'll do is, as we start getting better and better with biceps, we're just going to start with begin or just write begin answer sentence. But right now I want you to write begin with an answer sentence. Today what we're going to do is we're going to practice how to start answering our questions of the day with an answer sentence. So we want to model that, and then I want you to tell me what you would use for an answer sentence in today's question of the day. Let me go ahead and we're going to do a couple of examples down here, and I want you to write these down. They're very basic, but I want you to show you what I mean by an answer sentence so you understand. It's very important to remember to use these. And then after I'm done giving you some examples, I want you to try to help me with how to make an answer sentence for the question of the day for chapter 3. So right down here, I want you to go ahead and use these examples to help you about answer sentences. So let me do this. Let me zoom out a little bit. We're just going to make some quick examples. We're going to put EX here for examples of answer sentences. So we're going to write I'm going to give you a question, and I'm going to write the question, and then I want you to tell me, I'm going to show you what a good answer sentence would be. So here's a good example. Mr. Yates has been sipping on his iced tea. So I'm going to write a question about that. I'm going to give an answer sentence like this. I want you to write here a question. What is Mr. Yates' favorite drink? I'm going to put a question mark right there. Using my biceps rubric, what I would do is I would answer that question by not just saying, iced tea, but I would restate it as a answer sentence. So instead of just saying as my answer, iced tea, I would write, and I want you to write this here, here's the answer sentence example. So what is Mr. H's favorite drink? I would start by restating as many words as I can from the question. I don't want to use what, but I can start with Mr. Yates. Mr. Yates's favorite drink is. Now I've used the word favorite, I've used the word drink, I've used the word Mr. Yates, I've used the word is, I've used almost all the words from the question in my answer sentence. And that's what a good answer sentence does, is it uses as many words from the question as you can get. Now, normally in the classroom, this is my opportunity to drop a big hint about how Mr. Yates likes iced tea brought to him. Unfortunately, we can't do that in the classroom anymore. That's kind of a bummer. So, but it's still a good example of an answer sentence. Mr. Yates' favorite drink is, and I'm going to answer it with iced tea. And a period. I've used as many words as I can from the question to turn it into the answer. And I put my answer into the answer sentence. Today, what I'd like you to do is let's do the same thing with the answer sentence for our question of the day for chapter 3. So let's go ahead and draw a line underneath our example question and answer. We're going to work together to find an answer sentence that would really be good to begin our answer for the question of the day today. So if we work on this together, boys and girls, you'll have a freebie about a really good answer sentence. And remember, an answer sentence, we're going to try to include as many words as we can from the question. So let's do that right now. I'm going to switch out of my dock camera really quick, or minimize it. I'm going to go to my agenda. And remember, in your agenda, you're going to find your assignments. And I'm going to open the link to see today's question of the day. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And then we'll go. Boys and girls, make sure you're muting your microphone. Let's do that. So just so we don't have to hear random noises. And we'll go ahead and look at my question of the day. Now here we see our question of the day, and it's a little small, so I may zoom in on it so you can see it a lot better. Today's chapter, we're going to be reading a lot about Dune. And the question I wanted to ask you about, and let's close this out, is, first of all, what did Dune have a talent for? So I gave you some choices here: singing, mechanics, bookwork, or working with people. Based on what you read in chapter 3, I want you to see what you think talent Dune had. What could he do well? I want you to, first of all, before we even figure out the answer here, I want you to tell me what would be a good answer sentence here. How could we start this with an answer sentence? So let's go ahead and think about that question. What did Dune have a talent for? And how can we turn that into an answer sentence using words from the question? Start thinking about it. I'm going to sip some iced tea. And then I want you to be ready to answer with an answer sentence, but leave the answer out as a blank. I'm going to let in, looks like we have Jace P coming back in. Could we go ahead and, Ms. Church, could you tell me somebody that we could help me with an answer sentence here?
Aubrey.
Aubrey, if you can hear me, I want you to go ahead and unmute your microphone, and then I want you to go ahead and tell me what your answer sentence would be. Okay, I'm not seeing Aubrey coming on here. Let me look at my participant list again to make sure she's there. Aubrey, can you go ahead and unmute your microphone? Okay, looks like maybe Aubrey's having some connection issues here.
We can go with Hunter.
Hunter, you want to go and try one for me? Tell me an answer sentence, please. Oh, I don't see Hunter. Oh, you know what? I think Hunter was out today. Let's try one more person here. Gabby, you want to give me another answer sentence for this one? Gabby, I see that you're here, but I'm not hearing you. So,
Oh, sorry. I thought you said Abby.
oh, it's okay. I was just like, oh my goodness. Hopefully everyone can hear me because I'm not hearing anything back. I was going to try for Gabby. Gabby, can you hear me? Thanks for getting back to me, Abby. Gabby, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, could you tell me an answer sentence idea?
For an answer sentence, you could put Dune had talent for.
Oh, that's great. Dune has a talent for blank. Does anyone else have a different way to say that? Because that's a good way to say it. Maisie, do you have another way to add that answer sentence? Okay, you might have your hand up.
I had the
Mace.
same one Gabby did.
Okay, I thought just raise your hand if you have something different for this part, boys and girls. I just want to see if anyone's got a different one. Derek, do you have a different way to do that answer sentence?
You did have a talent for blank.
Okay, Dune had a talent for blank. That's perfect too. Alex, what are you going to say?
Dune's talent is blank.
Yeah, that's a great way to say it too. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say here, I'll write down my answer sentence. Make sure you start to write your answer sentence underneath here. And again, as long as you have some of the keywords here like Dune, and I'm going to say Dune had a talent. So the keywords in an answer sentence are going to be for this Dune and talent because that's what the question has in the words. And I'm going to leave the last place blank here so I can fill that in. Now I'm going to give you a freebie here because we didn't actually talk about this in our lesson, but I want you to look at right after that answer sentence. After that answer sentence, Alex and Derek, Alex, do you still have a question? Okay, Derek, do you still have a question? All right, good. Jace, do you have a question?
I don't have a question, but another one could be the talent that Dune has is.
Yeah, that's a great way to say it too. The talent that Dune had is, or had, actually, if you're going to say had, then I would say was because it's past tense. So the Dune that Dan did, yes, that's okay. Let's move on to the next part here. You'll notice that that's not all there is to do on this question. You do want to pick which talent Dune had. That means, can he sing? Can he fix things? Like bookwork means, is he really good with like reading and doing things in books? And working with people is just pretty much teamwork. You do have to pick one of those. Once you do, though, you do need to do something else. I want you to look at what I'm highlighting here on the question, and I want you to read or be ready to share with me what that second part of the question is. What is the second thing I need to do in that question? What is the second thing you need to do? Henry. Henry, you've been popular today. I think we picked you a couple times. Yeah, I know. Henry, do you want to go and unmute and just tell me what the second part of the question is?
Second part of the question is support your answer with the best three pieces of evidence from chapter 3.
Well read, my friend. Good job. Yep, that's exactly right. We're going to support the answer with the best three pieces of evidence from chapter 3. That means the book actually doesn't say, or it does kind of give you a really good idea of what Dune's talent was, but you're going to have to look for evidence about why. So let's say, for example, Dune might be good at singing, which I'm not sure if that's the answer. You'd have to look for 3 examples, maybe showing Dune singing, showing that he's really a good singer. He's like, should be on America. Well, it's an old show. America's Got Talent. I guess they still have one. But that's something that he has a real skill for. So you're going to find 3 examples in chapter 3 that show that either Dune is a good singer, he's good with fixing things, he's good at reading and doing things from books, or he's good with working with other people. He gets along with them. I want to give you an idea of how to write that. First, as how you would start that sentence. Abby, you want to go ahead?
I have a question.
Yeah, Abby.
How do you pronounce B?
Oh, mechanics. Mechanics is basically being able to fix things.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, we're going to go ahead and I want to show you the next part. So we have Dune had a talent for, and then I'm going to give you a freebie sentence because we really haven't taught you this yet. This question usually has come later in the school year, but I kind of pulled it up because we're using City of Ember. So I want to give you a freebie about how to answer the next part of the question. You want a second sentence. The second sentence is basically, I know because in the book it states. So write this here. I know because in the book it states that so let's say Dune had a talent for singing. I know because in the book it states that, and then I want you to give me 3 examples that show Dune had a talent for singing, or Dune was really good at fixing things, or Dune was a good team player, or he was good with reading. How many examples do we have to give, boys and girls? I just want to make sure that we're taking a look at our question of the day and thinking that through. Let me show it again so that we're aware. How many examples do we need? Let me shake those up a little bit. Sorry. There we go. I like some new random people here. Ava, how many examples are we supposed to give here? Ava, can you unmute your microphone? Ava? Okay, we're going to try. Looks like maybe Ava's having some connection issues here. So let's pick someone else, Miss Church.
Audrey.
Audrey, do you want to go ahead and tell me how many examples we're supposed to give?
3 examples.
You got it. Again, I want you to look right here. 3 examples. When you're done writing your question and answer, or when you're writing your answer, boys and girls, I want you to write it on that line piece of paper that we just wrote on with the freebie starter sentence for you. Then I want you to go ahead and open up the link in your agenda and write your answer in the space. Right on time right now. This is perfect. I'm going to give you time to work on this question of the day right now. Miss Church and I are going to be here until 3 o'clock so that we can help you with any questions that you may have with any of the other assignments right now. So what I'd like you to do, we're going to have our office hours now starting at 2, but if you have questions right after right now, we'll still be here too. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to answer questions right now, and then we're done. We'll end the meeting and we'll look at our agenda. I forgot to put in that we're having office hours, but we actually are going to be here until 3 o'clock so that we can answer any help that you might need. So I'm going to leave the meeting open. you may go ahead and start working on all the assignments that we've given you right now. But I'd like to also go ahead and see if anyone has questions right now that I can help you with. So I'm going to start with Riley.
I didn't mean to put my hand up.
That's okay, Riley. All righty. So if you're ready to go, you guys can head on out. I'm going to let in Aiden and Baylor. Looks like we had some connection issues here. Derek, do you have a question?
Yeah. I already submitted that paper before hearing those directions.
Okay, did you follow all the directions that I gave you?
I already submitted the paper. Can I redo that paper?
Yes, I think that's always a good idea. You can always redo it. You can resubmit it again. And Derek, on your screen, I want you to always pay heed to the, just really make sure you watch all the directions we have. That may help you so you don't have to resubmit them all the time. That'll
Yeah,
help.
I saw that after I submitted it, and I didn't know you can go back in.
Yeah, so good pro tip is really just to wait until we give a lot of the directions on things. That way you don't have to redo it or have to, go back and fix things. Okay? Okay, Mike, you got a question? Okay, Mike, I see your hand up, but I notice I'm not hearing anything from you. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to Jace P to see if he's there. Jace, do you have a question?
For the question of the day, I
Can you hear
don't.
me now?
Wait, we've got two people going on at the same time here. So, no, okay, so let's see here. Mike, do you want to, since you're coming in, and I know I asked you first here, Mike, do you want to go with your question?
Sorry, I think I actually turned my mic off for a second.
No worries. Do you have a question?
Yeah, you forgot to put the link to the digital version in today's agenda.
Yeah, and I mentioned that earlier today too as well. What I want you to do is on the class website, you'll see the link, and I'll show you on screen right here so you can kind of see it. So make sure you're looking at your screen.
I just went to one of the earlier agendas and clicked
You
on
can
that
do that
link.
too. Yeah, good call. That was a good way to do it too. So you're good to go. Yeah. All right. I see some people that are still here. If you guys have questions, raise your hand. If you don't have questions, you can go ahead and head on out. Bye-bye, everybody. Okay, bye-bye, Jace. Jace, you have a question?
For the question of the day, don't you put the talent that Dune had is blank, and then you do I know this because in the book it states that, and then you say your three pieces of evidence.
Yeah, you got it exactly right. Yep, it's just exactly what we were showing there before, so you're good to go. If you do it that way, you're following exactly what you need to do for this one.